Next, I want to move to the Innovations in Graduate Education program. I'm sorry, I think this slide should have a title, but the title's off. But I'm moving now to the IGE program, and I'll just talk briefly about this program. This is the link to the solicitation, which is NSF 20-595. This is all the requirements for the IGE program. Unlike the the NRT program, this one doesn't focus on comprehensive traineeship for graduate students. This focuses really on very localized test bed projects that will test in the terms of generating knowledge, generating research, the viability of an intervention or a set of interventions. And predominantly, these have focused on professional development. It began as a track within the NRT, the IGE program. It's now evolved into its own separate program. And so, well, a lot of the IGEs, when you look at what has been funded to date, a lot of these have focused on professional development strategies to help reinforce what we're supporting through the NRTs. We're going beyond that, as you'll see in the example that I'll show. It's really testing any innovations in graduate education, generating knowledge, and doing so with some real research, educational researchers involved in this, or people thinking about how can we ask these questions in the form of educational research questions. Sometimes this is just evaluated, you're evaluating a practice. And those are viable IGE programs, but every IGE proposal should have clear research question or questions, a clear hypothesis, and a very clear statement of the research methods that will be used to answer these questions. So we anticipate somewhere between 6 to 10 awards. This says FY22, but the same number goes for FY23. And proposals are coming up, so that the deadline for this is March 25th, 2023. However, unlike the NRT, which is quite elaborate and really requires multiple months of sustained collaborations and negotiations and discussions, this one's viable. You could potentially shape something between today and March 25th and really come in with a very successful IGE proposal. So really do encourage you to think about this. The awards are between $300,000 and $500,000 for every IGE. The goals of the program are to pilot, test, and validate innovative approaches to graduate education and to generate knowledge required to customize, implement, and encourage broader adoption of these approaches. I think we'll hear from my former colleague, Julia Kent, about an investment that we made in the Council of Graduate Schools to develop a hub, what we call an Innovation Acceleration Hub, which is really to take everything that NSF has funded through this program and figure out how can we accelerate the transition from the knowledge generation that NSF is funding to this broader adoption, implementation, and adaptation of the successful innovations. So we're not asking you to actually demonstrate the adoption, demonstrate the replication, but we're asking you to focus on knowledge in such a way that this is potentially replicable, scalable. Okay, so I guess this program is informed by some of the strategic frameworks for NSF investments in graduate education, and those include advancing science and engineering research, broadening participation to promote excellence in research, and building the next generation STEM workforce, and building effective models of graduate education and workforce development. For some reason, this is not legible, but yeah, I think the purple here is professional development. So the point of the additional parts of the pie is that we are expanding the areas of focus. And just one example I'll show you. This was led by Principal Investigator Julie Pacelli. And this project focused on equity in graduate education. And they developed a consortium that enabled universities within the California system and increasingly beyond the California system to come together to identify and create a community around best practices in admissions, retention, recruitment, building infrastructure for faculty development specific to equity concerns among graduate students. So it's a whole range of very systemic practices that will bring the graduate school faculty and graduate students together to address equity in a systemic, holistic fashion. And so we're thrilled to have been a part of funding this project and to see that it's now scaling up into a sustainable network that's resulting in tangible changes across graduate education. So this is not just the NRT team, this is also the IGE team. Some of my colleagues who you'll have a chance to speak to today, Vinod Lahani, Francis Mary Meduno, and then we have just a wonderful set of colleagues who I'm not sure are with us online yet today, but expect to pop in and out over the next couple of days. And so, but please, if you have any interest in unanswered questions in either the NRT program or the IGE program after this workshop concludes tomorrow, we're always open to answer those questions. And please reach out to me, Vinod, or to Francis Mary, and we'll be happy to be in dialogue with you. So with that, I'll just thank you for your time and interest in these programs, and happy to answer any questions if there are.